Test one,
Test,
two.
test, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing.
Test,
Testing.
test.
1, 2, 3.
One mic.
Hello!
Hi.
My name is Jessica and I'm the cosplay coordinator for the Del Rio Comic-Con. And I also have the Tipsy Gecko. My husband sells the geckos over there. Go buy one. We have our cosplay booth over here. Be sure to sign up if you're dressed up. Don't be shy. Try out the contest. Be brave, okay? I'm passing on the mic to Crystal.
Hey guys, I'm Crystal, or Draculina. We're over there in the corner. We got some TCG products, Pokemon, Magic, etc. Make sure you check us out. And I hope you guys are enjoying the con.
Hey guys, how you guys doing today? So, let me talk to you, my brothers and sisters, because next year we're going to have something exclusive. We are going to have the Del Rio Comic-Con on the 9th and 10th. And the good thing about it is we're going to have two sides of the Civic Center.
Woo! Yay!
And let me talk to you, brothers, so you never know what we're going to have from ECW, WWE, AEW, or one of your favorite characters. At the same time, if you missed out with Rikishi, he's going to be our special guest. And we might have another son with him too. So you never know. So let me talk to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And you know what? I'll be doing some other cool announcements in a little bit as well. Boom.
ladies and gentlemen who are joining in. We do have Tracy Lynn Cruz joining in just a bit. She is set to take the stage at 2 p.m.
Ranger, Tracy Lynn.
Thank you. Hi,
Tracy.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We want to introduce ourselves also. I guess we'll have a seat. Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Gonzalez. I'm with the Del Rio News Network. We are your morning news show. So if you haven't tuned in, we're on every other Saturday on YouTube and Facebook. So make sure to check us out. So thank you for joining us today. And thank you to Tracy Lynn. Welcome to Del Rio.
Thank you. It's so funny hearing you say Tracy Lynn. Only my mom calls me that when I'm in trouble.
Okay, Tracy.
So, Miss Lynn, thank you so much for coming to Del Rio. It means a lot. Fans, can we make some noise for having our guests come here?
Aw, thank you. This is why I like doing the smaller cons, because it's so intimate. You know, the bigger cons, you can't do this. It's very transactional. It's just too much. This is nice. I get to interact. It's a lot more intimate.
You know, I love biographies, seeing, shows on this origins, on how things, were, created. One question that I have, and maybe your fans may have as well, is how did you come to your role? Was it something that you always dreamed as a kid? Was it accidental? Were you into martial arts, prior to this? What was the origin of the role that you entered?
So initially I was going to college. I was studying in performing arts as a dance major. I was at Long Beach State. And anybody that's in college knows starving students. So you would take whatever job you could get. And I heard that there was a extra role for Power Rangers. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but if it pays, sure, why not? So that's how I started. The very first episode was called I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger. And from then on, I just had, I guess, kept in touch. I did a couple. And one of the, I can't remember, I can't remember their title, asked if I would be interested in auditioning. And originally, I thought I was going to be auditioning as the Pink Ranger, because as history repeats itself, Pink tends to be more of like the Caucasian girl. So little did I know that I ended up getting the Yellow Ranger, and they just kind of flipped everything. Everything that Power Rangers was known for completely changed. And so it was a risk. It was very risky because when you have a history like Power Rangers, especially like Zordon and the Command Center and all of that, people, they gravitate to that. And so with my season, my season got rid of all of that. And it was kind of scary, but it actually saved the Power Ranger franchise. So because of that, we're still here. So, yeah.
Great, and we're glad to have you here, Tracy. So what stands out to you the most from your time of filming, whether it's a funny, behind-the-scenes moment or a challenging stunt you had to pull off? So, you know, being a Power Ranger, you've got a lot of great moves. So what stands out to you the most?
Yeah, I have a couple of war wounds that I'd like to call from doing my stunts. So I mean, that's one of the things that we looked forward to the most. As soon as we got our script, the first thing we did was open it and find out, you know, where's the stunt scene? Who's it about? What's it about? And there is one particular, well, there's two. I'm accident prone. I guess you could say I'm more accident prone, but I like to do my own stuff. And so there is a choreography that I was doing with the stunt team, and being a dancer, not a martial artist, I was supposed to block a kick as he was kicking me. He was supposed to kick my forearm, but I blocked it with my wrist, and so I had fractured my wrist. So, so that's my little war wound. And then another one, there's what's called the Quantrons, and they have this like silver suit, and I was supposed to go, I can't do it now, but I was supposed to go and do a double kick and hit them in the chest. My foot got lodged in the chest, and I hit the pavement pretty hard, but we got the shot.
Yeah.
As long as we got the shot. Aw.
I love just hearing the behind the scenes of what, you know, the audience doesn't see. That's something that we go through too. You know, there's a lot of preparation that goes into things. One thing that I like seeing, you know, especially on TikTok, on Instagram, is I love seeing people on a platform give words of wisdom or a message to their fans. You know, you being in a role where people look up to you, people, you know, get excited to see you. How do you carry yourself with that, and what does it mean to you to be able to inspire people daily?
So I do have a motto, and it's a very, very simple motto. It's almost too simple, but it makes sense when you think about it. The motto that I usually give is major in the majors, minor in the minors, don't make major things minor, and minor things major. If you can understand that and stick to that, the rest is easy peasy.
Yeah.
You know, especially as a parent, I have 4 children. I really learned how to, I had to learn how to manage not making those major things, or minor things, I should say, those minor things major, like food on the floor or getting your, you know, I had to really learn that, and that comes over time. But I think that you can apply that to every aspect of your life, in any scenario.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I love that. I'm going to take that with me too. I know.
Good.
Yeah, we're going to take that with us, right, everybody? So don't sweat the small stuff, right?
That's right.
Don't make the minors a major. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and thinking back about memorabilia, right? So we see something really cool here on the table that you've brought. And your booth has some beautiful photography, lots of great moments. So tell us a little bit about what you have up here on the table with you today.
So I have my 2 helmets. These are the ones that I started off with, which is Power Rangers Turbo. And Power Rangers Turbo was a part of the Zordon era, which was still in the beginning. It was 97, still in the beginning when we had Zordon. And then after we destroyed the command center, a little note that we weren't sure if we destroyed our career after that, because that was everything everybody known was the command center in Zordon. We went to space, and space actually turned out to be the season that saved the Power Rangers franchise. How we went to space and going to school, I have yet to figure out, but you know, it worked.
It worked, yeah.
And In Space was one of my favorite seasons because we did have the very first crossover for the Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
We had the Psycho Rangers, and then I also, well, yes, thank you, Psycho Rangers. I have a little story, background story on the Psycho Rangers. As you guys love to see the Psycho Rangers, my little background story on that is that I thought what they did to the other cast in switching them out with us replacing them, I thought that was what was happening to us with the Psycho Rangers. I thought that they were going to be replacing us, and nobody was saying anything. So the whole time we were filming, the Yellow Ranger, if you go back and you look at her, she looks very much like me. So that poor girl got side-eyed all the time. Every day that I worked with her, she was side-eyed.
Yeah.
But needless to say, I got to keep my job.
Good, good. We're glad you did.
Yes. And then I like to say that on the command center, you know how you guys you see The Simpsons, and they have like they have where they kind of, what is it, predict the future.
Right, right.
So in space, we had Deca, which was like a little robot, which is now you would call Alexa or Google or Siri.
Yeah.
So we had it first.
Yeah.
So a lot of firsts for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. We're gonna ask maybe a few more questions, and then we'll get some of the fans maybe to ask some questions as well. You know, the Yellow Ranger has always been a fan favorite. You can see all your fans here super excited and every answer you're saying.
Thank you.
How do you approach making Ashley your own? You know, you've been in the role so long that it seems like, you know, maybe it starts to just encompass you, your personality. Do you see some of your traits in the character that you blend in? What traits did you actually show that's yourself in the character as well, that maybe audiences didn't know?
Yeah, well, I think with Power Rangers, because a lot of us, that was our first acting gig, they would put a lot of our personality, our interests, they would put it into the character. So it wasn't that difficult. There was a couple things that with Ashley, she wasn't very handy.
Yeah.
At least I'm not handy. I'm very accident prone. But Ashley was very strong. She was she built cars. You know, she did all of that. She did fashions, made her own clothes. So that's everything that I'm not. But they did put in one of the episodes, they did put in a dance episode. So I got to do that. I got to show some of my dancing, although I think that was probably the worst episode ever, because the person that they gave me to dance with, it was really difficult to work with because he didn't know how to dance. So, but yeah, I mean, typically they shape our character as our interest and what our interest is.
Awesome.
That's really nice because that helps to make it your own, right? So that helps you connect to your character.
Yeah.
Very nice. So I think we're going to take some audience questions. So
Good questions. Make some good questions.
Anybody?
is there anybody that would like to ask a question of Tracy? Yes, sir.
I got a question. Which Power Ranger you would rather fight with? You pick who you want to fight?
Which Power Ranger?
Did you hear the question?
In the episode.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. My main question is, is there a episode for you, which Power Ranger you want to fight with?
I guess
Which Power Ranger did you want to fight with?
They like you.
Like as far as the different seasons, which one?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I probably would say SPD. Maybe SPD, because they're very much similar. I'd like to see go head to head with SPD. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Question, thank you.
We'll take one more. Yes, sir?
think that I want to make sure I understood your question. Was it me that was fighting, or was it?
No, they were fighting. Yeah, they were fighting the Space Rangers and the Ninja Turtles.
And the Ninja Turtles? Uh-huh.
So there's an evil monster brainwashed trying to turn us back. And now they were trying to snap out of it. They're good guys, right?
I'm not quite sure I understand your question. I mean, I know that we did have in space our the very first crossover with the Ninja Turtles, and I'm very proud of that. Somebody asked me a great question that if I could do a crossover with any, any, I guess, show, what would it be? My first answer wasn't Ninja Turtles. My first answer was actually South Park, but but that didn't go over very well with Saban. So, but South Park, I really enjoyed. I guess it's that dark humor that I have. But I'm sorry, I maybe ask your question over there so I can understand a little bit more. Yeah, thank you.
Well, we appreciate your time. Is there something that you want to leave, that you want to say to your fans before we conclude?
Yeah, so thank you very much. I wanted to just plug in my organization. So you guys, I am a part of an advocate for autism and autism acceptance. We know the awareness is there, but it's more of the acceptance. So my organization is Neurolux, and I am just fascinated because I do have a personal relationship with autism that's near and dear to me. And I like to say I wear my heart on my sleeve. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. It's Neurolux, and it's just a one-stop shop. When I had my kids, there wasn't a platform where you were given oh, here's what you do. Your child's been diagnosed with autism.
Right.
This is what you do, first, next, and last. It wasn't like that. I had to Google everything individually. And so this platform that has been created is just, everything is one step from end to end, from being diagnosed all the way to transitioning. So I appreciate you guys letting me talk about Neurolux. It's been very, very near and dear to me. So thank you.
That's beautiful. So thank you for sharing that, because we know that a lot of families will definitely benefit from that information. So thank you. We'll check that out in Neurolux. So thank you, Tracy. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our fans? Give Tracy a big round of applause, Del Rio. Thank you for being here. So
Thank you so much for your love and support, and thank you for bringing me out, Del Rio. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for coming to Del Rio. We really appreciate your time. So thank you, and continued blessings on all you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Aww.
ladies and gentlemen who are joining into the stream, Gangrel is coming up next at 2:30 p.m. He'll be on at around 2:30 p.m. and he'll be taking the stage, and Alexander Benchaca and Michelle Gonzalez will be asking him questions. Thank you for joining in and stay tuned.
Sure.
Everybody, if I could get your attention to the front of the stage, please. We are having Del Rio News Network interviewing the one and only Gangrel.
So welcome Gangrel to Del Rio. Let's give him a big round of applause, Del Rio. Let's make some noise for Gangrel. Welcome to Del Rio.
Well, thank you for having me here. Thank you very much. Just glad to be here.
Great, so we'll sit down for a couple of questions and we'll get
Sure.
some fans to think of your questions as well and kind of think we'll take a couple of them in just a little bit. So
You sure it's okay?
yes,
Sure.
please make yourself at home.
Oh, Tiger Mask is here. Let's go.
So Gangrel,
Yes, sir.
One of my first questions is, what's your first impression to Del Rio? First time probably here in Del Rio, getting to see the clients here.
Well, I didn't get to see much because I creeped in at 3 in the morning, right? So it was dark. It was pretty dark out, and then we came straight here. But impression-wise, the people here in this town, they're great people, very respectful, lovely wrestling fans, and seems like there's a lot of culture here, and it's an awesome place. Like, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's just from going off the people I've met in the room today.
Absolutely. Are there any wrestling fans here?
Going off the people I've met in the room today.
Absolutely. Are there any wrestling fans here? Can we make some noise? Awesome.
Great, so we'll get started. So let's see, what part of David Heath, the man, is most like Gangrel, and what part is the complete opposite?
I don't wrestling ring or come out to an event like this and get to meet the fans up close and personal and hear what they thought, and if I scared them during their childhood or helped them through a time or something like that, or if their mom wouldn't let me watch them and they weren't allowed to watch TV because I was on, or whatever, so on and so on. So it's really great, and I'm really blessed to be a part of the wrestling industry for 38 years.
Absolutely. You know, Gangrel, you brushed on it about, you know, the history of the origin of the character. You know, right now, I love watching the biographies on, you know, A&E about wrestlers and whatnot. So my question is, how did this character hit? I'm sure that in your career, you went through a lot of, you know, different character changes. What made this character the one for you that your fans are, you know, memorable about?
How much time do we have here today? We got a lot of time. So I'm going to have to rewind it back to, does everybody know who Luna Vachon was? Yeah, I talk like this with the mohawk and stuff like that. Well, there you go. Well, we were home one day. We were watching this movie called The Lost Boys. And, you know, I jokingly said, oh, it'd be pretty cool to be a wrestler as a vampire. I could wrestle as a vampire. And she goes, you should do it. You should do it. You should wrestle. And, you know, I was sketchy about it or not. I was in a transitional thing. And somebody came up to me from Puerto Rico and said, I was outside working, and they go, hey, you look like a wrestler. And I go, oh, yeah, I do wrestle. And I was in between characters, and I was thinking Puerto Rico, they love monsters and stuff. So he goes, what's your character? And I went, vampire, you know, so like never doing it before. I went down there, developed it. You know, I already forgot what your question was, but
it's all good. It's all good.
You had to come back to me about that question. Developed the vampire thing 2 years, but what I saw and wanted for the vampire was the Lost Boys, right? I wanted the Lost Boys meet the Freebirds, but the early journeys of it in 90 and 91 and 92 and 93, they wanted just a monster, you know. They wanted me to go out, mucho sangre, much blood, you know, and cause as much chaos as I can, but I wanted to be like this cool rock and roll vampire with, you know, leather jackets and chains that jingled and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And go around, you know, much like the Lost Boys, but then, you know, sick people. So it was a transition coming up through there, and, you know, what was your question again? I know it said something.
I think you're hitting it exactly well.
Okay.
It's the origin of the character. That's awesome.
So it was a monster thing, but then the Brood thing developed because I don't know if you know who the Freebirds are. All right, so I'm a big fan of the Freebirds, and I was a big fan of the movie The Lost Boys, which generated the whole vampire thing. So the Brood was the Freebirds meet the Lost Boys. That was yeah. So awesome.
The Brood was the Brood means the Lost Boys, right? You said, yeah?
The Brood was the Freebirds.
Freebirds
Meet the Lost Boys. So the Brood was myself, Edge, and Christian, who are still very currently wrestling on main television, AEW and stuff like that. You can see them every, Friday and Wednesday or something. Yeah. So they're still out there banging and banging.
I'm a big fan of The Lost Boys, too. That was a great movie and a nod to that, so yeah.
Yeah, that's my stereo.
And speaking of that, when I first met you, you know, in person, the bangs really stood out. So I think that's so cool that you have them and, you know, they're there.
Yeah, they're not permanent anymore, and I really don't want to eat you as a snack, even though I'm looking at you right now. But 90, 93, 94, 95, they were permanent. Funny story is WWF told me we're never going to use a vampire character. To get rid of those fangs, they were silly. I had a mohawk at the time. They said, grow your hair in and, you know, lose a little bit of weight, we'll hire you, which true to the fact they did. 1 week under the contract, they came to me and said, can you still do that vampire thing? I'm like, what? And then Gangrel was born, yeah.
Awesome. You know, you brushed on a little bit about working with great talent. You know, Edge, Christian, really big names in the WWE. Would you say is your most memorable moment in wrestling? I know it's a tough question, but what sticks out to you of being memorable?
Man, a lot of people think that I'm going to say memorable moments would be a WWE or WWF moment, but it's not. It rolls all the way back to 1990 in Japan, All Japan, live at Budokan Hall. I was wrestling under characters called the Blackhearts. And I was at a pivotal point in my career where what I thought was a career, but I was going to sack it up. I was going to pack it in. I just thought, this is too much for me. I've been away for a month. These I'm 19 years old wrestling like Masawa, Kawada, Gordy, Williams, Stan Hansen, and Spivey. Guys that were at the top of their game for like the last 20 and 30 years. I'm over there trying to find my way, you know, in their world, and they let me know it too, you know. They're not friendly. You know, so I sat in the room, you know, that night before thinking, man, this is going to be my last trip. I don't know if wrestling's meant for me. And then I went out there. It was Budokan Hall, and I always like to say live at Budokan. I wrestled Crawford and Furnace. They were called the Can-Am Express. It was Phil LaFleur and Doug Furnace. And they carried me through a 20-minute match in Budokan Hall that just forever changed my life. I said, I'll never do anything other than wrestling again. It was just magical to hear the people banging on the bleachers, you know, like, and all the excitement. It just changed me, and that was the most memorable and the one that was a pivotal point in my career. So it was live at the Budokan for All Japan Pro Wrestling, but I wasn't Gangrel and I wasn't a vampire yet. I was a Blackheart of Destruction.
Awesome.
Awesome, yeah. So we have something really nice. Yes, round of applause, please. For Gangrel.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm trying not to look at her when I talk because with these fangs, it's much like a Gallagher splash zone. I'll be spraying all over. You'll need goggles. So it's a good thing you're like 3 rows back, you know. I don't know if you see stuff randomly flying. Yes, that is spit.
So speaking of cool things, though, right here in front of you is, you know, Alexander was mentioning he used to buy these at Walmart, you said, right, when you were a kid?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, one of my fond memories, I think a lot of us here, especially growing up in the 90s, we try to reenact some stuff in wrestling. So I remember having the Intercontinental Championship belt, the WWF Championship belt. So the fact to even carry this is kind of, you know, surreal.
Well, it's funny enough. I don't think you can get this one at Walmart, but I had to win this one. This is a CCW. This is Coastal Championship Wrestling. It's where I'm currently based out of now. And when I won the belt, I wanted to give it back to them. They go, why would you give it back? I go, man, I'm on convention tours for the next 2 months. I don't know when I can come back and defend your belt. And they're like, it's okay. So they said, take it out on the convention loop and, you know, bring some press to the company. So that's what I'm doing. I got that out there, CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. I do run their school. So I don't know. I've been running wrestling schools for the last, as long as I've been wrestling. 5 years into it, I started running wrestling schools, but I'm currently running one out of South Florida now, and it's called Coastal Championship Wrestling.
You know, Grango, that's so awesome, you know, seeing the talent of people giving back to what, you know, they love. You know, it's so cool to see how a lot of wrestlers are inspired by former wrestlers helping them out. So it's really cool to see that. Is there any, you know, people that you worked with that maybe that you crossed paths with that was a mentor to you growing up in your career, that now looking back, it's just a kind of a wow moment that you worked with them hand in hand?
There's a lot of people. Of course, the Hart family. I was trained in South Florida by Boris Malenko, who was Dean and Joe Malenko's father, the great Malenko. And then from there, I went to Calgary and I worked at Stampede, but they said, you got to be trained again. So I trained in the infamous dungeon there and stuff.
Wow, that is so cool.
So Owen, and whenever Owen, rest in peace, and then there was Brett. When I see Brett, they come back and they give me a lot of, they treat me different because they know I came through that dungeon and all that. And then I trained with the third place I trained, and this is after I've already been to Japan, already been full-time in Puerto Rico and full-time in Memphis. I felt like I needed a little bit more training. So where did I go for my third school of training? It's a tough school. But it was Rikishi's uncles and Mafa and Sika, the Wild Samoans. So I went there, and what they taught me there was business, a lot of business. You don't mess with a Samoan about business. They handle their money and all that. So he, Afa, taught me how to run shows, produce shows, and put stuff together and run companies like that. So I was blessed to be able to train at all 3 of those schools throughout my career, even though I'd already been maybe considered successful in some ways. You know, I just continued my training and stuff like that. So whenever I would run across him, and of course Kishi, love Kishi, miss him here. I thought he'd be here today, but I guess he's not. Right?
Yeah, he was here the last time.
He was here the last time, okay.
So speaking of training, and you do train, you mentioned the schools that you work for and that you help out. What is something that you train the younger generations coming in now? So what is something that you instill in them that maybe you wish somebody would have shared with you when you first started?
I'm still really big on respect, that old school respect, shaking hands, making eye contacts when you come into a locker room and stuff. But what I'm known for in my training is footwork. I'm a footwork guy. I concentrate hours and hours and hours on footwork. I always say you don't have to be the fastest guy in the world. You don't have to be in the greatest shape in the world. But slow is smooth is fast. If you're always in the right place, you're always going to be right. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I just got one more question, and then we'll take some questions from a few fans, if that's fine. The finishing move. Every wrestler is, iconized by the finishing move. Can you talk about your finishing move, the name of it, and also too how maybe it originated as well? I know being a vampire probably was a little bit, kind of easy, but I love the originated story of it.
Well, the name of the move is the Impaler DDT. So, Vlad the Impaler, vampire stuff, Dracula stuff there. How I came up with that was I was running, one of the first schools I ran was, after office, I ran a school for Dean Malenko, which his father trained me, Boris. So I was running a school for Dean Malenko, and he had a lot of cruiserweights in there, which is a lot like wrestling now. It's a lot of smaller guys. Yeah. And I went for a suplex, and I forgot to hook the arm, and I had him up in the air, and I was holding him. I had him vertical holding him, and then I just had this thought, if I just kick my legs out, I could turn that into a DDT, like a stalling, lifting DDT. So I tried it, and the rest is history. That's how they came along.
That's so cool, yeah.
Okay, so for those of us who don't know what a DDT is, what is a DDT?
That's where you pick somebody up and they just land on their head, It's
okay, I've
it's
seen
on their
that.
head or their face. Yeah.
I didn't know it had that name though. Okay.
Do you know how that DDT was invented?
No.
No? Does anybody know how it was invented, the DDT? You know Jake the Snake. Jake with who though? It was him and Lynn Denton, the grappler. They had a move on called the front face lock, like a front chancery. And Jake tripped and he fell down. Much like mine, being an accident, I forgot to hook the arm, came the DDT. So he just fell backwards by accident while he had a chancery on. And then that's how the DDT came to life, yeah.
All right, so I think we're going to take some audience questions now. So does anybody out there have an audience question for Gangrel? Yes?
Yes. How is it working with the Hardy Boys?
The Hardy Boys are awesome. A lot of people go, which brood did I like better? Did I like the original brood or the new brood? Which the original brood being Edge and Christian, and the new brood being the Hardys, Matt and Jeff. I like the original brood feuding Matt and Jeff. That was the best of times, wrestling them. So the chemistry they had, and then when they carried it on into the TLCs and stuff like that, they're amazing. I don't talk to Jeff that much, but I'll message back and forth to Matt. Great guy. And then on the brood end, I don't talk to Christian that much anymore, but I still talk to Edge. So he's another great guy, So it was a great experience. They're great guys, and I've known them since forever. It feels like, whatever years I've been wrestling, 37, 38 years, feels like I've known them that long almost. So good guys.
Grango, as a former wrestling fan myself, if you can bring any one of them here to Del Rio, I think we would love that. Would we love that? We get maybe some of the Hardy Boys or some of Christian or Ed. That would be awesome. Maybe you can do us a favor, just to give out a good.
We'll see what's going on. I know Edge and Christian finally reunited. Everybody's like, "Are you going there?" I heard rumors. There was some talks, but nothing happened. So I think they'll do their things, but you never say never with those guys. Because I know Edge, one thing about Edge, he's a really good guy, and he's a loyal guy. Awesome. So he's always looking some way to fit me back in, or whether it's a brood reunion, and maybe it'll be on conventions, I don't know, but he's always looking out for me, he's a good guy,
Awesome. We have any other questions? Yes, sir? What was your favorite match?
Oh, I kind of went over that one, but in Budokan Hall, but I've had so many matches in my life. I don't know. I could tell you some of my least favorite is when I had to wrestle my wife, Luna. There was black wedding matches overseas. They were European tours and stuff. She was an angry woman. You never give a woman that does not your wife utensils and tell her she's okay to hit you with them. The cooking trays and the tongs and all that. Very, very violent. Very violent. I could tell you one of my favorite wrestlers. That I like to wrestle, and you might not know this guy, but it shocks a lot of people. But I loved wrestling a fellow called the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman. I just liked living on the edge of danger. He was a martial artist. He was what you call UFC catch him, but loved wrestling him. He's one of my favorites. And X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 kid, X-Pac. We trained together, so I was training a couple of years ahead of him. So whenever I wrestle him, it's just like, I don't know, high school reunion or something. It's good,
I think we got one more. You had one?
I'm inside. You know, you seen Twilight, right? I don't sparkle. You know, all these myths about vampires, you're gonna find they just do that just to scare you, to keep you, keep you from going out at night. They're out there in the daytime too. You'll see they're everywhere.
During the ECW reboot in 2006, was there supposed to be a faction between you and Kevin Thorne that was supposed to happen?
Yes, yes, they did. They hired me and said, "Hey, you're gonna be like a baby, like you're gonna be a star. We're gonna do this ECW thing. We're gonna put you there, bring Kevin Thorne in and Shelly Martinez, Ariel, and make a faction." So I was waiting at home, waiting. I was watching TV. Then I seen Kevin come on. I seen her come on. I go, "Well, what happened?" And then 4 months after that, they called me and said, "It never really worked, So I don't know what happened there, but yes, I was supposed to come in. They hired me. They were paying me to sit at home, well, but they just never put it all together. I don't know what was going on. Seemed like a lot of miscommunications on that stuff back then, What name would it have been called? I have no idea. I know Kevin Thorne likes to call a lot of things the Bike Club, so who knows,
All right, and so Gangrel, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our Comic-Con today?
What I would like to share is a thank you, because without wrestling fans, without you coming and asking questions, showing up to shows, and watching it on your TV, I couldn't do this, nor could any of the other wrestlers do it. So thank you to you all for being supportive. There's a lot of places you could go out and spend your hard-earned money. You go out there, you work very hard for it, and you got families, and there's lots of things with medical, and so much to do with your money in life, and then you come and you invest it into watching us, and I'm kind of an energy vampire because I see your smiles and I steal off of it. When I know that you're paying that hard-earned money, but you're coming there smiling, so it makes me feel guilty about even being there. But I want to thank you really from the bottom of my heart, because without you, all of you, I couldn't do what I've done this long, and thank you very much for it.
Let's hear it for Gangrel, everybody. So thank you, Gangrel, for coming to Del Rio Comic-Con. We appreciate you traveling down here and taking the time to be with us today. So we're glad to have you. So hopefully, you have a home in Del Rio always.
It's all my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for Gangrel, Del Rio Comic-Con.
I don't know. I'll turn your mic off. Please leave it on. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining the stream. The stream is now ended.